So, using the roadmap, what
Yeah.
is the roadmap?
Yeah, it's a vision for your life. So it's 3 to 5 years is kind of the target. And the idea is you sit down and you think about like what is your ideal day? What is your ideal week, month? And really just sit there and journal on it to start and
Yeah.
just figure out where do you want to be.
So I want to go a little bit backwards and evolve on what is the roadmap. So it's that detailed list of what does your day look
Well, it's
like.
not just a list. It's like you could make it like a vivid vision type thing where it's Brandon Turner did a newspaper article for Open Door. You can make it into something very creative if you want. Ours was just pretty bland because I'm not super creative when it comes to that.
We bought a dry erase board and just started writing on the dry erase board, just the things that we wanted to have.
Right. I mean, it's, it's a Tuesday morning. I wake up and I have a cup of coffee while I meditate or read the newspaper. I don't know. People don't read the newspaper anymore, I don't think.
Hey, some people do.
Okay.
I know if Cole Skinner's listening to this podcast right now.
I'm sorry, Cole.
He is probably reading the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah. Almost like if you were describing a movie of your life.
Yeah.
Writing that out. What are you doing? What do you feel? How do you spend your time when you don't have to go to a job every day?
Now, why is it so important? That's why is having something written out like that so important?
There's so many reasons it's important. I mean, one, I had a little bit of like an existential crisis this year of like, what makes me happy? And that's where the top 10 comes into play. But also when the top 10 is the top 10 things that make you happy. Mm-hmm. But having the roadmap helped me kind of like redirect. And it's almost like a journal entry to myself of what my future looks like in an ideal world.
Right.
And it kind of gives you a North Star to point to. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and do your azimuth example that you love to use.
Well, maybe people don't know what an azimuth is. Azimuth is a term that I learned in the military where it is essentially a target.
Yeah.
Now, the azimuth target is defined as a degree. So the 360 degrees on a compass, and your azimuth is the trajectory that you're shooting. So if you're standing in the woods and you can see a tower in the distance and you see a mountain on one side, well, you look at your map and you orient yourself and say, oh, I'm at this point in the map. And you say, I want to go to this point on the map and I can see my targets out there and I want to go to this point. So I'm going to hold my compass and I'm going to shoot my azimuth, which is essentially pointing your compass at that direction and reading it on the compass. And it'll say like 262 degrees. And then you have to take into account if there is a change on the map, a plus or minus 1, 2, 3 degrees. Then you do that. And then you calculate how many steps it is to get there. And then you take your paces and you constantly look down. You keep checking your compass and make sure you're on the path with your azimuth and your paces and that you get to the spot you're going to.
The idea is there's a point on the horizon that you can see in the distance. And you are saying that is the point I am working towards because you have the map and the compass is telling you that's where you need to go.
Right. And at times you're going to go into places of your route that you can't see that point anymore, but you have your compass and you have your azimuth and you know which direction you should be heading.
Right.
And you might have to go through a really muddy bog or you might get chased by wild boars like I did once. But you still have your azimuth.
Right. And the idea to apply this to real estate, if you have your roadmap, you know where you're going and what you're trying to accomplish. And when stuff gets hard, work all hours of the night to get a property ready for rent. And then you sit down and you're like, woo, we're going to make $100 a month. Like this sucks. Having that bigger vision and roadmap in place helps you stay focused.
Right.
So like you were saying, if you wind up taking a slight detour, you know how to get right back on track.
Right.